I messaged AP from my wife's phone and found out P1. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. I am approaching the 1-year anniversary of my D-Day. Here is my story. We are both in our mid-40s. We have been together for more than 30 years, since high school. We have 2 teenage children. My wife, her choice, has been a psalm for most of the last 15 years whilst I have worked hard in a stressful but well-paid job to provide for our family. A few years ago my wife and I went through the traumatic experience of the death of one of our children. My wife struggled more than myself. I tried to remain strong for her and our other children. She had bereavement counseling but that did not help her. Her mental state due to our loss was all over the place and things got progressively worse with our marriage. Around 2 years ago, we had a massive drunken argument. I said lots of nasty things, called her names, no physical abuse. I was stupid and immature. I did not apologize for my outburst and this resulted in a dead bedroom and a lack of good communication. I turned to alcohol and I became depressed about the whole situation. This time last year, I was considering divorce. I wanted things to get better between us but I knew we both had to change for that to happen. As a last throw of the dice, I suggested marriage counseling. She declined but I had IC. This helped me. I gave up drinking. I also lost weight and got into my best ever physical shape with lots of exercise. My mental health and attitude towards my wife improved. We were both happier. We had just started becoming intimate again and it looked like our marriage could survive. So things were looking up again until by sheer chance I discovered her affair. In retrospect, there were lots of red flags but I always trusted her and assumed she would never cheat on me. I did some snooping and confronted her with only a small amount of what I knew. Initially, the affair was denied and I got trickle truth. For example, she told me she had only kissed her AP a few times but her story had lots of holes in it. I caught her totally off guard with the confrontation and my questions. The next day I was all set to show her my proof that they had gone beyond kissing each other when she admitted to having unprotected sex on more than one occasion with the AP but it was over now as he had finished it. The physical affair had started not longer after our big drunken argument the year before. She came out with a classic line, "I still loved you but was no longer in love with you." She recently told me that because of the arguments that she thought I no longer loved her when her affair started. This was not true. I did still love her, despite our problems, as she would have found out if we were communicating and had asked me. Following her confession, I took my wife's phone off her. She gave me the passcode and passwords to email and social media apps. I read all their available messages. There were gaps in chats probably removed just before her confession of the physical affair, but by now I had pretty much the full story. The day after I messaged the AP from my wife's phone to get his side of the story and to threaten him should he carry on seeing my wife. His story matched my wife's version. He had finished the physical affair due to the damage it would cause to both families and he wanted a life with his BS and not my WS. He told me what an amazing person my wife was. She had fallen for him and that's when he ended it because it was getting too serious for him. He apologized to me and said that he would tell his wife what he had done. I told him that was up to him as I didn't want someone else to suffer the pain I had suffered. I told him that if he ever saw my wife again then I would tell his wife. I did not tell him to break off contact because my plan was to install keylogger software on my wife's phone. Bear in mind that we were in the middle of lockdown at this point in time so there was no way that they could see each other. For the next few weeks, they would message each other. My wife told her AP that I knew about them. The AP did not tell her that I had messaged him. It was amusing to watch this unfold. They were now having arguments and blaming each other for their affair. My wife, in an attempt to save our marriage or stop me kicking her out of our house, was love bombing me and at the same time giving her AP shit for using her and treating her badly. However, she also said she wished that they could see each other and chat properly about what had happened. She did appear to show remorse for how much her actions had hurt me. She admitted to me that she had been selfish. I asked her if she had ever cheated on me before. She answered that with a subtle difference to the question that it was her one and only affair. I am now suspicious she had a one-night stand with a former boyfriend many years ago but I have no proof. She said she had fallen back in love with me because I had changed for the better. But as we all know, actions speak louder than words and you cannot believe a word that a cheater says. Even at this point she was still sending messages to him although they were innocent messages as they were discussing their hobby which is where they first met and got to know each other as friends. I phoned a lawyer to discuss my options and see how things would look should we divorce. My wife overheard some of the conversation and this seemed to wake her up to the reality of the situation. Soon after, my wife sent a final message to the AP telling him that she would not be chatting any longer and he was not to get in touch with her ever again. Contact between them did stop, and at this point I gave her some boundaries and the consequences should she break them. One of the rules was, no contact or see the AP ever again, and if he contacted her to let me know immediately. I told her if she broke that rule I would divorce her. She agreed to this. I told her she needed counseling to work on herself and find the reasons why she did what she did. She agreed, although said she felt forced to go, but only went twice and then stopped, telling me she already knows the reasons for her affair so did not need any more counseling. I saw the same counselor a dozen times, and despite client confidentiality, my counselor did tell me my wife was remorseful. This was a few months ago. My wife and I have been getting on better than ever. I do love her, but I have not forgiven her yet. There has been no contact between my wife and her AP, but I have reason to believe that may change shortly. Here are some best comments from our community. She was with him, you caught her, she was kind of loyal, to not lose Op. But she kept talking to him because she wanted both. Only after Op showed seriousness and assertiveness, by calling a lawyer, she decided that she didn't want to be divorced, she didn't want to lose Op. That's because getting divorced and losing Op are part of the cake she wants to have and eat it too, so she started feeling bad because she was losing it. So, she is feeling bad, to make it stop and solve the problem, greater than love bombing and stop talking to AP. That is because 1, Op is easier to gain and 2, more damaging to lose. When the dust settles and you are okay, the game continues, maybe not with AP, maybe another one. The only one I would put a little trust on, would be on the AP, if he told his wife out of guilt and morals. He took the initiative and stopped it willingly. But he kept talking to your wife, I view it as him not wanting Op's wife to cause mess in his life. Op, first, you don't need more reasons to divorce, you have already lost your trust, don't lose your time. Also, teen kids won't grow well in a toxic environment, and you are showing them to put up with disrespect and cheating. Second, tell AP's wife, have some morals. Maybe you don't see it this way because your wife's affair was short and ended. Imagine being married and discover that during said marriage, there had been an affair for years, years of your life wasted on someone who is not worth it. Don't deprive her of information. This is the problem. There will always be signs. Kids aren't stupid. In the little ways you don't share words of affirmation, how you guys speak to each other and in what tone, how much quality time you spend together, etc. When I was a kid, I didn't really have the depth to even identify that I realized these things with my family. I still knew plainly they weren't happy with each other and didn't act like a happy couple. Look, if you have to go through all these different changes for your marriage just to stay above water, or be halfway decent, especially as long as yours is, then I think this is way too much to do and takes up too much of your time. I know that your marriage comes first, but there are other relationships that will suffer. So, let's just say you have adult children and still live with you. You set boundaries, like if they stay out past the time that you both agree to. And if they are stay out past that time, call just as a courtesy. That is probably a normal boundary for any family with adult kids. You are not trying to be mean, it is a matter of respect, right? What kind of parent or role model is your wife for your kids or anybody else's at that? It's called respect. Listen, brother, your wife knows she was wrong way before the EA or PA begin. She had plenty of time to tell you how she's feeling. And if that doesn't work, and you've seen with your own eyes, start or threaten divorce. If you won't change, then there you have it. Tell her to walk around in your shoes for a month. I betcha if it was you who had the affair, ask her how would she react, or what would she do if the tables were turned. It may not be right, but men still have a chance. This guy said he acting like he was having an affair after he found out she was cheating. Do you know what the wife had the audacity to do? Complain about it to her app. OMG app, I think my faithful hubby is having an affair on his unfaithful wife. Say what? I think my faithful hubby is. OMG, did I just say that? Imagine Jerry Lewis's voice saying this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Epiphany. Save it trick. And it destroyed her whole life. He never even cheated. Bro, why would you want to entangle your life with a known irrational wildcard anymore? Divorce and reconciliation are not mutually exclusive. Tell her she's been downgraded to the roster, and she can work her way back up to GF position. Secondly, what consequences has she suffered for her actions? 2 MC sessions? Now she knows that if she were to cheat on you again, you'd take her back, and the only consequences would be a month of crocodile tears and 2 therapy sessions. That is, if she gets caught. There's no remedy for affair fog like divorce papers and paternity tests. Finally, let the AP's wife know. It's the easiest way to ensure the affair dies completely, since you'll have 4 pair of eyes watching the situation instead of 2. You have to consider STDs too. HPV can't be detected in men, it's not easily detectable in women, and some strains can cause cancer. You won't be making her suffer. Her husband already did that. She just doesn't know. In fact, you'll be giving her bodily agency back to her. She will be able to make an informed decision, with consent, if she wants to stay with him. There are more to come. Find out the update of this story, check our channel or the description. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.